Hello and welcome to Panorama. Courage, duty, and honor stand out as the debt to fallen heroes and veterans cannot really be repaid. Today marks the climax of a series of activities nationwide in commemoration of the Armed Forces Remembrance that commenced almost 2 months ago. Honoring families of fallen heroes, those maimed, and veterans of the 2 world wars, Nigeria's civil war, and most recently internal security operations remain an embodiment of recognition of their roles in protecting the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We salute the sacrifices of Nigeria's armed forces in the current counterinsurgency operations in the Northeast, subduing terrorist elements in the Northwest, and past heroes for sustainable peace, security, and unity. While the Nigerian government and people love and cherish the sacrifices of the ex-servicemen through the public displays, how much attention is their welfare receiving? With changing times and recent turn of events in all facets of the Nigerian life, how is the Nigerian Legion championing the legacy and cause of families of the fallen heroes, the maimed and veterans who gave everything in the service of their nation? This is our focus on Panorama from the studios of NTA Maiduguri Network Center. I am Muhammad Ibrahim. Activities commemorating this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day were rounded off across Nigeria with the laying of wreaths at the cenotaph of the unknown soldier. In Abuja, the nation's capital, the symbolic annual ritual held at the National Arcade by President Muhammadu Buhari. The story will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Having made sacrifices for a one indivisible Nigeria, efforts of veterans and that of fallen heroes have continued to be appreciated with the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, celebrated annually nationwide. The Nigerian Legion is at the helm of coordinating activities towards promoting recognition and welfare of fallen heroes' families and veterans whose courage remain a source of strength for citizens of the sovereign entity. Maimuna Garba reports.
Armed Forces Remembrance Day, also known as Veterans Day, is observed on 15th January in memory of Nigerian armed forces who served in the World Wars I and II, Nigerian Civil War of 1967 to 1970, and most recently the 13 years of Boko Haram insurgency, as well as the counter-terrorism operations in the Northwest. 15th January 1970 became Nigeria's Armed Forces Remembrance Day in commemoration of conclusion of the Nigerian Civil War that tested the resolve of a united and indivisible nation.
Any nation that forgets its history is doomed forever. And that's why this day is held annually, so that they know that they are remembered. Their families are still alive, their family members, their wives, their orphan children are always remembered. And then the sacrifice is even to the ones that are living, because we still have those that are living that have been maimed because of one action or the other.
To this end, the Nigerian Legion was vested with the general function of promoting welfare of ex-servicemen, families of fallen heroes, maimed veterans, and organizing the remembrance activities.
For those who happens to have been a family or relations of the fallen heroes, yes, we feel very bad that we lost our beloved ones, that their sacrifice is not in vain.
The dignified ceremony is a reminder of the legacies of courage by the veterans and those who died in the line of duty as Nigerians showcase love and support. This is in addition to currently serving troops, their families, veterans, and those who paid supreme price of their lives, especially with the Boko Haram insurgency and other internal security operations where the Nigerian armed forces are battling hard to contain, keep the peace and the country united.
More help on the widows. Those widows are more than 735 we have in Borno State. And what we have, we cannot mention us.
And more welfare packages are being introduced to ensure that they are not forgotten.
It is important for government at various levels, organizations and individuals to raise the bar of support to families of the fallen heroes. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Now, January 15th every year in Nigeria, as the sovereign entities observed as the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Memories of fallen heroes, those maimed and veterans are kept alive with activities culminating in the laying of wreaths at the cenotaph for the unknown soldier. Organized and coordinated by the umbrella body for Armed Forces veterans, the Nigerian Legion, it takes place in all states of the Federation. With me to discuss the memorial for those who paid supreme price, their families, the veterans, and the role of the Nigerian Legion in enhancing their welfare is the chairman, Legion, Borno State, retired Colonel William Mamza. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let's start by asking, what does the Armed Forces Remembrance Day portend for veterans and families of fallen heroes?
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day, also is a simple known as Remembrance Day, is a public holiday in Nigeria, celebrated, observed on 15th January to commemorate the service of the Nigerian Armed Forces, as it also honors veterans of the World War I and World War II, the Nigerian Civil War, being the former British colonial. Remembrance Day was formally celebrated on 11 November to perpetuate days in honor of the end of the Nigerian Civil War. Sorry, First War was the second. Upon the government victory against Biafra troops in 15th January 1970, the authority was moved off. The holiday was moved off from calendar of Commonwealth of Nation and was changed to 15th January in commemoration of the coalition of the Nigerian Civil War. That's the part of the unity of Nigeria.
Okay, for you and your families, what challenges are you going through, especially in Borno State, with Boko Haram insurgency that caused hardship to everybody?
We are facing so many challenges. One, we run from here to here, from town to town, village to village, because of this insurgency. Nobody will say he's sitting down in his own village or his own town because of this. Because all our places have been scattered. And all of us, we the ex-servicemen, we suffer a lot because people, the Boko Haram, they see us like people who is giving information to the army. That they come, they will say, these people are giving information in this village. When we come, they will say, we are here, we are there, we are there. Then the army come and pursue us, kill us. So we should let us start to kill them. About 220 ex-servicemen in this state. 220 ex-servicemen, including General Mamashua. Yes, he's among us. They kill. So because they see that we are telling the army their history, we were telling them the information about them.
Okay, sorry for your losses. How can we add value and stimulate enhanced livelihood support to the veterans and families of the fallen heroes from all segments of the Nigerian society?
Yes, we want the Nigerian society to help the Nigerian Legion and the veterans and even the widows in donation during the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. They're supposed to come and donate. When we call on armed forces, let us come to parade for the Armed Forces Remembrance Day at Raman Square, especially we the Borno State people. We are the people who are supposed to help the widows of the fallen heroes and Nigerian and the family and their family. Because the family of fallen heroes, they are suffering. Some have 9 children, 10 children, they cannot pay their school fees.
Specifically, what do you want?
I want let us come to society before government.
Okay.
I want the society, especially those who are rich,
yes,
who can donate, who can give something, give it to the Nigerian Legion. Okay. Then we shall take care of these women and their children. But let me tell you, as some years back, we shall finish parade. We shall not get even up to 1 million naira. And we have about 760 widows now on the ground. 760 widows. I just write their name and type it, send it to His Excellency to see that this is where we are suffering. Today, if you come to parade, you see them. When we close the parade, they ask me, give me transport, give me this, give me that. Because of nobody come to donate. Today's one is different. We shall come to that. So that's what I want the society to help. Let me go to government. the government of Bukogana Umara Zulum, truly he have helped us a lot. Since he came to office, he has been donating every year 10 million to us. And the deputy governor always donate 2 million plus food items.
All right. Retired Colonel William Mamza, we are pressed for time. We thank you very much indeed, Nigeria Armed Forces, for your sacrifices to Nigeria and to Nigerians. Thank you very much for coming on Panorama.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. That was retired Colonel William Mamza, Chairman, Nigeria Legion, Borno State. Nigeria's armed forces engaged in counter-insurgency operations in the northeast have been reminded of the need to intensify efforts and improve strategies towards ending the protracted conflict. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, gave the charge during a visit to Military Command and Control Center, Operation Hadinkai, and 7th Division Maiduguri. Paul Nkujevana reports.
The visit by the Senate Committee on Army to the Army formations was to hear and see their gains and challenges in the operations, to in turn relate it to the federal government for further actions.
It is because of the pressure we put on the government that subsequently led to last year's supplementary budget, where over 700 billion was allocated, and that made a difference.
Theater Commander Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, acknowledged the drive of the committee, which has changed the narrative of the operations and pledged commitment to work for the attainment of peace.
We on our part will continue to put in our very best to ensure that total peace is restored to the Northeast, in Maiduguri and Borno in particular.
Similar visit was done to 7th Division, where the committee was received by the General Commanding Officer, Major General Abdul Wahab Eyitayo. Thereafter, held a closed-door meeting. The Senate Committee also visited injured soldiers at 7th Division Hospital and donated 500,000 naira to them, with the same amount goes to recruited trainees at the Memalari cantonment. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
Time for a break. Panorama continues shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Welcome back to Panorama. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed absolute confidence in the ability of his administration to make history the prevailing security situation in parts of the country. Receiving the Grand Khalifa of Tijaniya Islamic Movement worldwide, the president said his administration is well aware of its responsibility with regards to security and such will not be abdicated. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The Grand Khalifa of the Tijaniya Islamic Movement the world over, Tijani Ali bin Arabi, was led to the State House by the Governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. On the delegation include the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, and the leader of Tijaniya Islamic Movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi. Governor Ganduje had told the president that the world leader of Tijaniya movement was invited to Nigeria by the Kano state government to lead the faithful in fervent prayers to Allah for the country, considering the complexities around security in particular.
The government of Nigeria, under your leadership, has done a lot in order to solve the problem of insecurity in this country. But Your Excellency, prayers to God subhanahu wa ta'ala for his intervention is absolutely necessary. Prayers were offered for peace and stability of this country. Apart from the religious consideration, we also decided to make the Tijaniya Islamic movement as a tool of diplomacy in terms of education, commerce, and agriculture.
President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the Kano State Governor for the initiative, saying, through prayers, God will give guidance and strength to leaders to be accountable and do the right things for sustainable peace, stability, and overall national development.
I'm grateful that those influential leaders of this religious sect have agreed to come and pay us a visit. All I can say, I hope God will listen to our prayers, bring stability to Nigeria.
The president urged Nigerians to be fair to his government in assessing the security issue in the country by reflecting on what obtained at the time he took over in 2015. Taking pride in the fact that a decisive break has been achieved from the past, particularly in the northeast and south-south, the president promised that the northwest, which had given the nation some headache, will also experience a turnaround for the better.
We have done our best. We keep on praying for God to give us the power to do the right things and see the results of our hard work and commitment to the country.
The president urged citizens of the country to take responsibility and show interest in the affairs of their own security to complement what the government is doing. During the event, the leader of Tijaniya movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi, and the Grand Khalifa Tijani Ali bin Arabi extolled the existing cordial relations between Nigeria and Algeria and prayed for guidance and blessings for the country and its leaders. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says despite the shrinking resources, his administration remains irrevocably committed to doing her very best for Nigeria and Nigerians as a bounden duty. This was while receiving in audience the ambassador of Burkina Faso to Nigeria. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
Ambassador Pierre Framindo was in the State House on a farewell visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. His 8-year tour of duty to Nigeria has come to an end. President Buhari congratulates the outgoing envoy for his eventful and result-oriented tenure in the country. He hopes that the envoy would use experiences garnered in the field for effective decision-making in his country. Leaders, he said, should always do the best for their people within the limits of resources. As for him, President Buhari emphasized that henceforth every day counts and must be utilized in the delivery of public good. Ambassador Ndo expressed the good wishes of his country to Nigeria, commending President Buhari for his diplomatic prowess, which has seen Nigerians leading key international organizations. He equally expressed appreciation for Nigeria's tremendous support to Burkina Faso during the flooding crisis, their national elections, and at many other critical times. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Zubairu Dada, has called on Saudi authorities to reconsider earlier decision on travel ban placed on Nigeria due to concerns over Omicron. This was at a meeting with Saudi Arabian Ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Faisal bin Ibrahim Al-Ghamdi. The minister said other countries that took same decision have reversed their stance, having studied the achievements of Nigeria so far in the fight against the Omicron variant and the coronavirus pandemic in general. The Saudi Arabian ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Faisal bin Ibrahim Al-Ghamdi, while responding to Nigeria's request for the lifting of the travel ban, expressed satisfaction with the effort Nigeria is making to contain the pandemic. In other news, Ebonyi State Police Command has recorded another feat in the fight against crime with the rescue of 32 children from traffickers in the state. Ijoma Peter Nwante reports that the State Commissioner of Police, Aliu Garba, while briefing the press on the development, called on parents to always be watchful and pay keen interest on the way about of their children and wards.
The police public relations officer, Lovett Oda, said the command rescued 32 underage children who were trafficked from different parts of the country for forced labor and sexual exploitation. She said in the course of investigating the whereabouts of one Chidera Wankwo, whose case was reported by the mother, useful statement was made to the police, and that led to the rescue of 32 children by operatives from a hideout at Oposi Umohara. The children, who are between the ages of 15 to 17, were discovered to be indigenes of Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Benue, Abia, and Rivers States.
First, we are going to further investigation to Imo State, where Chidera had confirmed that there are more than 20 girls in an apartment that look like a hall, and up to like 18 boys also there doing the same business in the name of networking, hawking around with products.
The suspect, who works with a private company in Ebonyi State, denied his involvement in the crime. To this end, the State Commissioner of Police has called on parents whose children are missing to report to the police headquarters for identification and possible claim of their wards. In Abakaliki, Ichoma Peter Wante, NTA News.
The concept of community policing strives for improved communication, intelligence gathering, and crime prevention, with security agencies and citizens jettison mistrust for a mutually beneficial relationship. Paul Nkujevan has sought to find out how communities are keen into this concept for law and order to make firm root, especially with most parts of Borno State in post-insurgency recovery phase.
Community policing is a partnership between police and citizens towards crime prevention and control. The question now is, how has this strategy enhanced maintenance of peace, law and order, especially states with peculiar security situations as Borno? Chairman, Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC Borno State, Engineer Sanda Sharif, is here to provide answer to that.
The strategy in place in Borno has greatly enhanced the security and the peace we are enjoying in Borno State. What we are doing always is to engage the members of the community. They give us information as I went due, and then we relay that information to the police. Members of the committee give us all the cooperations. They attend our meetings. If this strategy continues, and definitely we are going to sustain it, because that partnership is enhancing, and the security situation in the state is improving.
Sir, what are the challenges being experienced by the PCRC to ensure that the strategy gains ground and acceptance? And how do you intend to subdue any impediments?
Sometimes when there's an issue, they feel reluctant to come directly to meet us. That's a great challenge. If they are coming directly to meet us, where are the bridge, where the link between the community and the security actors, particularly the police? It's in a situation whereby the flow of information, intelligence, is effective. Sustenance of peace we're enjoying now will be guaranteed. If you have a report that you feel is classified, give it to us. We know what to do. So please, the members of the community should always feel free to meet us as the stakeholders.
Human safety and security are indeed human rights and necessary for development. Hence, all hands must be on deck to ensure a law-abiding and peaceful society. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Pauline. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has flagged off the training of masters trainers of the N-Skills program from across the country to train targeted beneficiaries under the N-Power programs. This is in furtherance of President Muhammadu Buhari's approval to revamp the National Social Investment Programs. Ruth Aguele reports.
Romeo Osara, an artist, is in his late 20s and a dropout from school. For him, this skill is all he has for now.
Romeo or Sarah may be among the lucky few that will be selected for the End Skills program that has just been launched. Now we hear 175 persons will be selected from across the 36 states and the FCT. Unlike the End Power, it needs no formal education. These beneficiaries will be trained on lifelong skills. But how can this be achieved? The foundation needs to be set right.
To do that, the ministry is training master trainers selected from across the country. The minister, Sadia Umar Farouk, in a message, says the End Skills program will help bridge the gap in the demand for standard and market relevance.
This program aims to improve the quality and relevance of skills delivered using a certification system and to ease the transition of target beneficiaries to full-time skilled employment. The program targets marginalized and disadvantaged population, including those with primary or no formal education at all.
Empower targets delivering capacity and capability along with skills.
They always say that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. So how are we going to prepare leaders for tomorrow if they don't have skills?
If they don't get it right from here, we cannot get it right at the grassroots.
The general expectations for the master trainers is to live up to their roles to achieve the desired goals. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
That's all on Panorama this afternoon from the studios of NTA Meduguri Network Center. Have a pleasant weekend.
This is for those who have honored the call of duty to serve their motherland. The Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force. The ones whose shoulder we rest on. The ones who sacrifice their lives for our safety without knowing our names. The ones whose aim it is to protect us, our sovereignty and honor as a people. You are our heroes. On the ground, on the sea, on air. Through the theater of bullets, blood, tears, sweat, and uncertainty, you have demonstrated courage. You have fought gallantly and selflessly for your countrymen. You have left your family to fight for other families. Some of you have even paid the ultimate price.
They are gallant heroes and will always remain heroes. One such hero was the late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, 21st Chief of Army Staff.
It is now high time we get back and fight through and support our forces
and pay tribute to their courage, bravery, and sacrifices as they battle to keep us together in unity and peace.
Today, we remember Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, the immediate past Chief of Army Staff, a fallen hero. Today, we also remember all the fallen heroes of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Today, we remember the sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Today, we remember the sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Today, we remember the sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces, and we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eshigoni.
Mungode. Dalu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Happy Armed Forces Remembrance Day. This message is sponsored by the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation.
Hello, I'm Africa 54 Managing Editor Vincent McCory in for Eshtegiduyuwa. And this is Africa 54. Leaders from the Southern African Development Community say they are extending a troop deployment in Mozambique to help the government fight an Islamic State linked to
their troop deployment in Mozambique, where the government has been fighting militants linked to Islamic State. The insurgency, centered on the northern Cabo Delgado province, has claimed thousands of lives since it broke out in 2017. Last year, a multi-billion-dollar liquefied natural gas project was brought to a halt when fighters attacked the town of Palma. Member countries of the Southern African Development Community agreed a 3-month deployment to Mozambique in June last year, which was extended in October. On Wednesday, after leaders met in Malawi, a communiqué said there had been good progress and that the mandate of the SADC mission had been extended. It did not say for how long. Rwanda, which is not an SADC member, has also sent troops. Mozambique's military had been losing ground against the insurgency until it accepted the help. Security forces say areas previously held by militants have been cleared and a number of insurgent bases destroyed.
Well, that was David Doyle of Reuters reporting. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it is talking with Pfizer about securing supplies of its antiviral COVID-19 pills for the continent. The drug is seen as a potential game changer in fighting the deadly virus. Pfizer says the Paxlovid medication is nearly 90% effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, and data suggests that it retains its effectiveness against the Omicron variant. Governments worldwide are scrambling to buy Paxlovid, while Merck's Molnupiravir is facing setbacks after disappointing trial data. There are hopes that Merck and Pfizer's experimental pills taken at home rather than in hospital or medical centers could be key in reducing the chances of dying or hospitalization.